Hello, thank you for joining with me. We are in chapter 30 of A Course in Miracles, complete and annotated edition, edited by Robert Perry, reading with the Course Companions group. Week 51, chapter 30, The New Beginning, which I already said. This is day 351, section 8, One Changeless Meaning. And if you'd like to join me in prayer, dear Father, if left to my own devices, my perception will be skewed. I surrender to you everything that I think and feel. God, please take my past, plan my future, send your spirit to redeem my mind that I might be set free. May I be your channel, God, and serve the world. May I become who you would have me be, do what you would have me do, go where you would have me go, and say what you would have me say, and to whom, dear God. God, please allow me to set aside everything I think I know for an open mind and a new experience. And so it is. Amen. Here we are. One changeless meaning. Say hi, little precious girl. Would God have left the meaning of the world to your interpretation? If he had, it has no meaning, for it cannot be that meaning changes constantly and yet is true. The Holy Spirit looks upon the world as with one purpose, changelessly established. And no situation can affect its aim, but must be in accord with it. I'm sorry, my dog. For only if its aim could change with every situation, could each one be open to interpretation, which is different every time you think of it. You add an element into the script you write for every minute in the day, and all that happens now means something else. You take away another element, and every meaning shifts accordingly. What do your scripts reflect except your plans for what the day should be? And thus you judge disaster and success, advance, retreat, and gain and loss. These judgments are all made according to the roles the script assigns. The fact that they have no meaning in themselves is demonstrated by the ease with which these labels change with other judgments made on different aspects of experience. And then, in looking back, you think you see another meaning in what went before. What have you really done except to show there was no meaning there? And you assigned a meaning in light of goals that change with every meaning shifting as they change. Only a constant purpose can endow events with stable meaning, but it must accord one meaning to them all. If they are given different meanings, it must mean that they reflect but different purposes, and this is all the meaning that they can have. Can this be meaning? Can confusion be what meaning means? Perception cannot be in constant flux and make allowance for stability of meaning anywhere. Fear is a judgment never justified. Its presence has no meaning but to show you wrote a fearful script and are afraid accordingly. But not because the thing you fear has fearful meaning in itself. A common purpose is the only means whereby perception can be stabilized, and one interpretation given to the world and all experiences here. In this shared purpose is one meaning shared by everyone and everything you see. You do not have to judge, for you have learned one meaning has been given everything, and you are glad to see it everywhere. It cannot change because you would perceive it everywhere, unchanged by circumstance. And so you offer it to all events and let them offer you stability. Escape from judgment simply lies in this. All things have but one purpose, which you share with all the world, and nothing in the world can be opposed to it, for it belongs to everything as it belongs to you. In single purpose is the end of all ideas of sacrifice, which must assume a different purpose for the one who gains and him who loses. Let's go down and read footnote 28. If both individuals see the same purpose in a situation, and if that purpose is fulfilled, then both of them gain. But if each sees a different purpose in the situation, now it may be that only one person's purpose gets fulfilled, leading that one to gain while the other one loses. And back to the text. There could be no thought of sacrifice apart from this idea. And it is this idea of different goals which makes perception shift and meaning change. In one united goal does this become impossible, for your agreement makes interpretation stabilize and last. How can communication really be established while the symbols which are used mean different things? Footnote 29. The meaning you see in something depends on the purpose you assign to it, the goal you hold for it. Therefore, if you and your brother are holding different goals, then you will see a different meaning than he does in everything, including in the symbols you use to communicate. A particular symbol may carry the same superficial meaning for both of you, but on a deeper level, to one of you it may signify gain, while to the other it signifies loss. Given that symbols which are used mean different things, how can the two of you really communicate? And back to the text. The Holy Spirit's goal gives one interpretation meaningful to you and to your brother. Thus can you communicate with him and he with you. In symbols which you both can understand, the sacrifice of meaning is undone. All sacrifice entails the loss of your ability to see relationships among events. And looked at separately, they have no meaning, for there is no light by which they can be seen and understood. They have no purpose, and what they are for cannot be seen. In any thought of loss, there is no meaning. No one has agreed with you on what it means. It is a part of a distorted script which cannot be interpreted with meaning. It must be forever unintelligible. This is not communication. Your dark dreams are but the senseless, isolated scripts you write in sleep. Look not to separate dreams for meaning. Only dreams of pardon can be shared. They mean the same for both of you. Do not interpret out of solitude, for what you see means nothing. It will shift in what it stands for, and you will believe the world is an uncertain place in which you walk in danger and uncertainty. It is but your interpretations which are lacking in stability, and they are not in line with what you really are. This is a state so seemingly unsafe that fear must rise. Do not continue thus, my brother. We have one interpreter, and through his use of symbols we are joined, so that they mean the same to all of us. Our common language lets us speak to all our brothers and to understand with them. Forgiveness has been given to all of us, and thus we can communicate again. And now join me with Robert Perry's commentary here. This section brings up something that we have probably never thought about, the stormy seascapes of meaning that constitutes our world as we experience it. The fact that we don't think about it implies that we are comfortable with it, but we're not. If we are willing to face that, then we will also be ready to change it. The foundational principle here is that meaning comes from purpose, from the goal we are holding. Once we select a goal for a situation, that determines what the situation means to us. If I'm in a situation to make a killing financially, for instance, that will determine what everything in that situation means to me. It will also determine what the situation as a whole means to me once it's over. That was a disaster. I lost my shirt. We all write a script for our day, a story of how it's supposed to go. That script obviously is a series of goals. It says, this day is supposed to go this way. Being made of goals, this script determines what the day means to us, since goals determine meaning. Our judgment of the day's meaning amounts to, did it go according to the script? I expect we can all relate to this. Yet there are problems associated with this. First, our goals for the day are diverse, which leads to confused meaning. Second, our goals are constantly changing, which leads to fluctuating meaning. What makes this picture even more complicated is that changing a goal in one area affects the meaning we see in all areas. Thus, we continually rethink our desired goals. Our meaning landscape becomes what I said earlier, a stormy seascape. There is no solid ground, everything is fluid. As far as the eye can see, the ground beneath us is constantly rising and falling and crashing over, and we hang on for dear life as our little boat is being tossed about, tumbled over, and even submerged. How could we not believe the world is an uncertain place? The problems don't start there, for we not only assign different goals to different situations, we hold different goals for ourselves than others hold for themselves. We accept this as just part of life. My goal for me is different than your goal for you. Yet this has two devastating consequences. First, it means someone ends up as having to sacrifice. Where there is a winner, there is usually a loser. One person's goal is fulfilled while the other person is shattered. Second, it means that we cannot really communicate. This is a surprising point, but it makes total sense. Remember, goals determine meaning, which means that my goals determine the meaning of the words I use. For instance, when my younger son talks about one of his basketball games, by game he means the game we want to win. But when someone from the other team mentions the same game, he means the game we want to win. They may be talking about the same game on a superficial level, but the meaning of that game is totally different for them. How then can they really communicate? True, they can share superficial information, but can they join in a shared meaning? Thus, while we are trying to stay afloat on the high seas of fluctuating meaning, we are also fundamentally alone. The boats of others are rising and falling on literally different seas because everything means something different to them. Surely we are tired of being alone on high seas. Maybe then Jesus' solution will look like welcome relief. His solution is simple. We let the Holy Spirit assign one purpose to everything in the world. This includes every situation and event, and it also includes every person. The Holy Spirit looks upon a world as with one purpose, changelessly established. His purpose, in other words, never changes. It is constant. He puts us back on solid ground, for now everything has the same meaning. And this meaning is as solid as a rock. This meaning is anything but a boring one. It is radiant, it is joyful. As a result, you are glad to see it everywhere. Now, we don't have to constantly try to figure out what things mean. That issue has been settled. The Holy Spirit is our interpreter of what everything means. Further now, at last, we can communicate with our brothers, for we realize that we all share the same goal. That allows everything to have the same meaning for all of us. Our common language lets us speak to all of our brothers. To put this differently, we finally realize that we are all in the same boat. What is the one purpose that the Holy Spirit assigns to everything? There are passing references to it in this section, but it was referred to very clearly 2 sections ago. The real world is the state of mind in which the only purpose of the world is seen to be forgiveness. Are we willing to let forgiveness be the purpose assigned to every situation, every event, and every person? I can feel resistance rising in me as I consider this. But do I really want to remain in my lonely boat on the high seas? Thank you so much for joining with me. Chapter 30, The New Beginning, Day 351, Section 8, One Changeless Meaning. I love you. Have a beautiful day.